Hello, I'm back again. Um, so basically, I woke up and I was reading stuff as I usually do, and I just came across some really vulgar attacks on Ayn Rand and her philosophy. And I just started thinking about how there are so many of those on the internet, and I hear this vulgarity and this unnecessary, so unnecessary. This stuff all the time, and it really people really only use this vulgarity and this crude language and just like attack all this stuff out of spite and because like they have nothing better to do than to hate her works. And I don't understand why. Because you expend so much energy to hate her works when you could actually and the thing is that most of these people don't even read what she has to say. They're just kind of like, oh, I read this one thing, so now I know everything about Ayn Rand and I know all of her philosophy and like I understand exactly what she's saying and this is bad and this is evil. And like, no, you don't. And people will just read things and automatically take that up as their opinion. And like, I know someone I've read so many stupid things this morning and just in general. And there was something, it was like, someone said, oh, I don't even know that much about Ayn Rand, but I read something about how um, she said, people shouldn't have to pay taxes. People should live in a free society and like blah, 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 blah. And people shouldn't have to give their money to the government. But you know what she did? She took Medicare and Social Security benefits, and she's a really bad person. So you're basing your opinion then of her entire philosophy and her off of one thing that you read, which you didn't even bother to research, and you just took it at face value and you took it for what somebody else said, not even like your own thoughts. And you're like, that's bad. I don't like it. And you make that quick decision, whereas you could go to a bookstore, open a book that has Ayn Rand's name on the cover, and open it and read it. But no, God, you would not want to do that because it's like 1,000 pages. Oh my God, you would have to spend your time reading it and finding out what she actually said and like what she actually believed. You know what? You could do this thing that like I've done and that I know I'm doing and that Bet-Zua is doing, where we read the things that she says like in her own words. Oh my God. Crazy concept here. And you inform yourself and you form your own opinions divorced from what other people have told you or what other people want you to think or say objectivism is. And you could form your own opinions. That would be really cool. You could read the Objectivist newsletter, you could read Atlas Shrugged, you could read The Fountainhead, you could read The Virtue of Selfishness, which is really good. And you can read them. And as you're reading them, you can say, okay, I agree with that, or no, I don't agree with that, or like, hey, that's that thing that I dislike, or hey, maybe she's actually right about that. And the other thing is that you don't have to explicitly hate something. You can be like, okay, I agree with this thing, but I don't agree with this thing. You don't have to be like, no, everything about this person is wrong, everything about their philosophy is wrong. And like the thing is that I don't explicitly agree with Ayn Rand. Like I think that some things that, which like, no one fully agrees with anything. which is just the truth. That's just the logic. But, like, there are some things that she says that I'm just like, not so much. But for the most part, I agree with objectivism. And so back to, like, what I was talking about is that people criticize it using the language that they do and using the terms and the excuses and their reasoning that they do because they don't have anything else. Can you not explain why you dislike Rand or her philosophy without bringing up, like, stuff from... I mean, okay, you can bring up stuff from her personal life. That's reasonable. But, like, do you have to just be like, oh, she's a crazy fucking bitch, like, she's a selfish bitch? You know what? Yeah, she is a selfish bitch. And she knew that, but, like, not in the way that you're saying. You view selfishness very differently, probably because you haven't taken the time to read anything on objectivism or, like, the virtue of selfishness, and you haven't really tried to go out there and see if maybe there are different opinions or something outside of, like, this collective group opinion. And that's really bad. That's sad that you're gonna just stick to this definition of selfishness and stick to the definitions that you've known because that's what's easy. And if you want to do that, that's fine, but, like, then don't criticize. Like, what is the point of having different philosophies in life, of people, like, having different opinions if you're automatically going to be like, your opinion is wrong? That's not the way opinions work. So basically, like, what people have this idea of Ayn Rand, and that she's like, you know what, screw the poor, they suck, and don't do anything for other people ever, and, you know, kick them when they're down. And, like, really, I don't know where that comes from, because that's not what she says. She says that it is not, like, the individual's duty or responsibility to like, fix the lives or really fix the lives of others or sacrifice your own life for somebody else. Like, unless that's your self-interest. Like, if you're doing it for yourself, cool. But if you're okay, she says that no man's life should be an end or a means to another's. And, like, this is a really good thing that she says that I like. In the virtue of selfishness, which I have on my phone. So that's why I'm Okay. It is only in emergency situations that one should volunteer to help strangers, if it is in one's power. For instance, a man who values human life and is caught in a shipwreck should help to save his fellow passengers, though not at the expense of his own life, which is rational. If you don't want to die, why would you just give up your life for someone? But this does not mean that after they all reach shore, he should devote his efforts to saving his fellow passengers from poverty, ignorance, neurosis, or whatever other troubles they might have. Nor does it mean that he should spend his life sailing the seven seas in search of shipwreck victims to save. Or, to take an example that can occur in everyday life, suppose one hears that the man next door is ill and penniless. Illness and poverty are not metaphysical emergencies. They are part of the normal risks of existence. But since the man is temporarily helpless, one may bring him food and medicine if one can afford it, as an act of goodwill, not of duty, or one may raise a fund among the neighbors to help him out. Okay, that just makes sense. Like, how do you refute that? If you can't afford to do that, if it's not in your best interest, if you're going to take away the money that you need for yourself and, like, no, that doesn't make sense. You know, okay, basically, Ayn Rand says that if you want to give this guy money, that's fine. If you feel that if that's in your rational self-interest, that that's going to do something for you in the long term. But if it's not, like, you're not living for this guy. This guy is just like your neighbor. And you're not going to know him in 5 years, and doing something for him is not going to help you. And I think that the reason that people find something so wrong with that idea is because we like to think of ourselves as really compassionate and just like that we can change the world by helping others, and that we can feed the poor and the homeless, and that we can do good things for other people, and that if we don't actively like seek out doing good things for other people and helping other people, we're bad, like we're horrible. And that's just not the case. And like if you think about it, the majority of people who preach like this, just save the world, save people, feed the homeless, like you have to do everything for other people. Okay, I kind of sound like a bitch right now, but I don't like this. How many people actually do that? Okay, like I give money to the homeless when I feel like it's something that I can afford. When I have the money to do so, because I also have to pay for a lot of things for myself. And it would be kind of, not in my rational self-interest if I pass a homeless guy and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm going to give you $100 because I totally have that money to give. No, like if I had $100, cool. Ayn Rand is saying do that. If you want to do that, if that's your choice, cool. But you're not obligated to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, if you think about it. Yeah, and then she says, but this does not mean that one must support him from then on, nor that one must spend one's life looking for starving men to help. That's just kind of, in the normal conditions of existence, man has to choose his goals, project them in time, pursue them, and achieve them by his own effort. He cannot do it if his goals are at the mercy of and must be sacrificed to any misfortune happening to others. Hey, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so basically, I've just been reading stuff online and watching videos and getting really, really frustrated because people don't actually take the time to understand what she's saying. Oh, okay, and this is a thing that she said that I really like. To be selfish, this is what selfishness is. This is her view of it, which I agree with. To be selfish is to be motivated by concern for one's self-interest. This requires that one consider what constitutes one's self-interest and how to achieve it, what values and goals to pursue, what principles and policies to adopt. If a man were not concerned with this question, he could not be said objectively to be concerned with or to desire his self-interest. One cannot be concerned with or desire that of which one has no knowledge. Selfishness entails A, hierarchy of values set by the standard of one's self-interest, and B, the refusal to sacrifice a higher value to a lower one or to a non-value. I mean, it's completely set. You can be compassionate and still be objective. But anyway, yeah, so over to you, Bet-Zua. I hope you have enjoyed this rant on Rand. I hope you got something from it. I hope that you want to go out and like read the things that she's written, or at least try and understand more and form like your own opinion apart from other people's who you might have talked to. Or so yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm Ellie, and I'm